Hello, Shalom Ola. Welcome to the Spiritual Life with Mystic Reverend Travis Tidwell. I'm here with my official co-star, Ashley.
Good evening, and thank you for formally announcing me. I'm so excited.
Had to wait for that retrograde in.
Good evening.
And I want to acknowledge here my executive producer.
Hey, Athena.
My daughter, Athena, who's also High Priestess, Sacred Dragon. Everybody here in this house is representing that West Coast magic. And we're also giving much thanks and acknowledgement to this podcast being powered by the Lord God Yahweh, the Holy and Divine Spirit, and the God Hermes Mercurius Trismegistus for assisting us with all angels and guides who are in our life right now, assisting us in this podcast that we're doing currently.
So what are we talking about tonight? I already know, but I want you to tell the people.
Alien abduction. It's really important for most people to know that we're living in a cosmic world. I feel like, first of all, most people are really afraid of aliens.
Hell yeah, I am. I'm not going to lie. I was telling you earlier, the last thing I want to see at the end of my fucking bed is a fucking grave. And I'm sure a lot of people feel the same, though.
Right. No, for sure. And so that's why I'm always promoting that God connection to be the strongest thing you have in your life to get you through anything you experience. Now, this whole UFO alien here has been here forever, and really some of these aliens who come into our galaxy are our ancestors. They have to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if people dig and do their research, they would agree with that as well.
To some degree, yes. But now, we study the Keys of Enoch and all these different books who tell us about aliens and the different star seeds out here, because we're star seeds, make no mistake. And we know that aliens that we consider aliens coming here to visit us, there are different ones. Blues, the grays.
The Arcadians, there's the reptilians, there's the grays, there's the Asians. The list goes on. Yeah,
there are several. I mean, I really never pursued the alien life per se. I acknowledge it. There's different forms and shape of life out there created by Yahweh. Alien species is one. They say the good aliens will acknowledge the one source. And so if you meet an alien and go, hey, do you believe in the one source, man? He goes, yes, I believe. Then, you can communicate and hang out.
That could be like the Tesseract for all we know. You know what I mean? So how do we know what the one source is?
I mean, truly, because here's the deal. Before we talk about my personal experience here.
Shit's going to get weird, people.
Shit's going to get weird here. We know that for many years, those farmers in New Mexico, their cows were being all dissected. Blood was missing.
Surgically.
Surgically.
Mm-hmm.
And
like Skinwalker Ranch for anyone that's watching that.
You bet. And we know that a lot of the alien abductions, these people have been prodded at some point. And that black and white couple in the 60s were the first couple who came out and acknowledged that they had been abducted, which is, just a horrific.
So do you mean probed and prodded, or just prodded?
Probably a little bit of both, Let's see if he moves,
I don't even want to think about that either. That's so creepy to even think about.
Yeah, and so it's really common for some people to just have this happen over and over for them, and it's because there's some kind of a Quasimodo connection possibly with that particular seed, or their vibration is weak and allowed them to be abducted.
Well, I know that there's certain individuals that have had experiences where multiple people in the family have been abducted by aliens, and it could be something related to the bloodline and whatnot. And just being hybrids, because I've heard of people talking about having to give birth to hybrid alien babies on spaceships. Shit gets weird. I'm not doubting. Honestly, I believe anything's fucking possible now.
Well, I'm not going to denounce anything, but I will say this. It's bigger than what we think.
Oh, absolutely.
I will say that right now, as we're podcasting, there could be an alien ship above our house, cloaked. We couldn't even see it, and it's right there.
Oh, I already know.
Now, Pedro Avila, God bless his soul, is in Mexico, and Jaime Masun is a big UFO guy down there. And this guy, Pedro, had a camera set up in his living room looking out the window because he had some kind of an illness of some sort that made him stay home. And so
agoraphobia in a weird way.
Yeah, and so he was bored, and I forgot what he was diagnosed with. But anyway, he had the camera, and he looked at it every day, and nothing happened. So he goes to the store, buys another camera, but this time he puts an infrared lens on it and puts it on the same tripod, same level, looking out the same window.
Oh, gosh.
Okay?
Yes.
And the one that's just a natural camera doesn't see shit. But the one with the infrared sees the ship right there floating in front of his house.
Oh, I believe this.
And it's amazing to think that we wouldn't accept that. I mean, Star Trek prepared us for that.
But I think at that time when it came out, people were never even thinking that that was even possible. But they had so many fans.
Yeah, well, again, the population is evolving very slowly here, Ashley, unfortunately.
Not unfortunately. I think it's a good thing.
Well, I think yes and no. I mean, in our country, just like a lot of countries, right now it feels like dictatorship is trying to take over this country, number one. So aliens can also want to manipulate us as a species possibly. Now, let's finish this thing about the aliens real quick here. Okay. Enoch tells us that the first aliens that come here and contact us are the negative aliens. And we know that because they abduct us, they do experiments on us, they give us information on metallurgy and that type of engineering, so to speak, but they give us nothing from source, in other words, Yahweh, or a divine source, okay? And he said the second aliens that will come to us, which are still coming, will come on ships made of crystalline, more or less, or some kind of a stone, and there'll be biosatellites, giant biosatellites in the sky for people. And they won't ask about who we are or what we're made of. They're going to know everything about us and everything about Yahweh and the source, and they're going to have the answers to everything on that level. Probably come with Lord Maitreya and other ascended masters at that time.
Okay, continue. So what's the third aliens? Is there supposed to be like a whole bunch of aliens that are coming in line?
Well, right now there's multiple aliens, really. And let me give you one more example. We talk about UFOs, but there's also the USOs, the unidentified submerged objects. So we have alien ships right now living at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that as well.
Yeah. So, there's a lot going on with aliens in this planet to a degree. I mean, but we have to understand that these ships, these aliens were here way before the Adam and Eve consciousness existed. Okay, honestly.
Some people will even say that their DNA was mixed in so they could create a whole hybrid race.
Well, yeah, of course, because again, we look at the word human. The word "you" in human means reptilian. So we all have reptilian in us. Now, and let me also validate that tonight by saying that we all know Kundalini is serpent.
So I don't know enough about this to whether say that that's true or not.
It's true.
I feel like
Kundalini. We talked about Kundalini on an episode, me and you.
No. I understand that, but I'm saying like you were talking about the reptilian blood. I don't know if I agree nor disagree with that. I would have to look into it.
No,
because I
look
feel like
into
there's
it.
so many variations, and they're kind of
look up the word human, and get it. And actually break it down. It's been broken down to the point where again, you represents serpent, reptilian energy. Now, excuse me, my guide, Thoth Hermes Mercurius Trismegistus, says that, there's the as it is above, it is below kind of syndrome going on even with aliens, if that makes any sense. So there's going to be a, what's the word I'm looking for here?
I don't know.
No,
I don't know. I don't know where we're going.
Okay. All right. Then take me back.
Okay. So we were talking about alien abduction. So we were talking about grays at the foot of the bed. Enoch was talking about the aliens coming. So I had asked you if there was like a third race that was coming after.
No, we talked about multiple aliens coming in here at some point. It's truly weird.
Let me ask you before we continue. I guess my question is like maybe for someone listening at home, like why would he talk about the aliens coming and what was their purpose? Like what was his purpose of explaining that to us? Yes.
To prepare us for it.
And I guess, is it something to be like I can't even say that. Like something oh my God, I can't even talk. Catastrophic.
Catalytical, yeah.
Yes, like something crazy.
Yeah, possibly. Unfortunately, I really feel that's a good point. They're waiting. Even these aliens submerged at the bottom of the ocean right now, they're waiting for this time to come. Even Lord Maitreya and Jesus himself has said the world's not ready for us to return yet. It hasn't got that bad yet.
I think they also go inside the center of the
Believe that
earth.
or not, yeah.
I honestly think they go inside the earth as well. I don't think they only stay at the ocean floor.
No, they're all over. But I'm just saying they are known to be also not only like Mount Shasta supposedly is harboring UFOs. I've been to Mount Shasta.
When I went to Sedona, and I just went there like a few weeks ago, I cannot tell you the crazy freaking energy that you feel pulsating through your dome. And my mom and I went up to like the chapel on the rock. I hope that's what the name of it was. And we sat down and we were just like in this really beautiful church, and there's candles lit and it's really dim. And then I saw my mom get up, and then she stumbled twice. But, like, I knew why she stumbled. Like, you could feel the energy. It was that centralized. And just to know that there's always, like, alien sightings, and it's almost guaranteed that anytime someone goes on, like, a tour, you're going to see a UFO out in the sky, quote unquote, right? So I just think it's really interesting, like, if aliens are here, how many people are getting abducted in Sedona or that are alien beings that they don't know of? I mean, it would seem like a good hiding place, right?
Yeah, and some of those beings could be reptilian.
I don't even want to think that. And so aren't they supposed to be evil?
But let me tell you something. Going back to this Hermes thing, I kind of lost my spot there from when I coughed. What's happening is that the serpent is real. And when you look at the caduceus, which is the symbol of most medical symbols, is the two serpents entwined around each other facing inward.
The staff.
The serpent, that's the kundalini energy within us.
Yeah.
Okay? So the serpent is not a negative energy. Even the staff of Moses has a serpent on it. So there is a connection with that in our word. But there is an alien connection because none of us are from Earth. We're aliens. And who knows really maybe what we looked like before we got here. I mean, my God, it'd be terrible if we looked like that. But anyway, but we're different. We're definitely different. And a lot more will come to us when we're actually mentally able to handle it, I guess, at some point. But a lot of people have had bad experiences with alien abduction. Most people I've talked to people over the years who've had alien, and it's always been a bad experience.
So now that we're on the subject, and you said that most people have a bad experience, we have to get on the subject of what you encountered.
Okay.
And what has your experience been from the time you were little till now?
Yeah, I mean, I think my first alien, because you really don't know what something is. And first of all, no matter what it is, it's always going to scare you because you've never seen it before. There's always that thing of the unknown. What is it?
Yeah, but I've heard of times where aliens have been encountered with individuals and the people feel calm and they're like, they have mind control and they told me everything was going to be fine. And then other people are like, I was so scared, I just passed the fuck out. So like,
I was that person.
Which I think
Yahweh or no Yahweh, what the fuck is going on there?
No, okay, so tell us.
No, really. No, so I was a kid, and this being appeared at the end of my bed, and I mean, it was one of those situations where, I read my eyes, I put my head under the sheets, put my head back up, and this being is just resonating there, and he looked very awkward. I couldn't describe him at the time. He had a very huge body with a bird-type head. And at first, when I thought of predator for a moment there, we were talking about this earlier. Predator make it evil, but when I really came into terms, because I never knew who Hermes was in the beginning of my life, it was really Thoth. It was a man with a bird head, so it scared the shit out of me. And I remember running into my mom's room, going, "Mom, there's something in my room." And because my room, it's gone, thinking I was dreaming. I was not dreaming.
And was it fairly tall, or was it?
It was huge. He was probably at least 6'5".
And this is just in your room,
in my bedroom, And I was never that kind of kid who had bad dreams. My dreams, were always kind of going to the moon, kind of stuff. But no, I was never.
Like probably astral projection without even knowing you were doing it at the time.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with me growing up because my mom was a walk-in spirit. So one of my favorite.
That's a really interesting story. I love that.
But one of my favorite things to do going to sleep. I always loved going to sleep when I was a kid because it always felt like I was going to the moon. I could always see these craters. It was like going to the moon for some reason. But anyway. Going back to that night, I'll never forget that night, and it always stuck with me. And it wasn't until I studied Kabbalah and Egyptian information that I realized this guy was Thoth. And then I found out he was my spirit guy. I go, oh my God, no wonder why he appeared to me when I was young. and I didn't realize that at the time. And that felt like an alien being to me.
I mean, I guarantee it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a man body with the ibis for a head.
I mean, Egyptians are straight up twisted, baby. No.
I don't know if they're twisted as much as it's like they're just is that the avatar they might have chosen?
No, the Egyptian culture is very powerful and it's intertwined in everything. And they came here in ships. Okay, I mean,
they talk about this underneath the Sphinx, like being a Merkabah.
A lot of people have said that.
I mean, it's still a mystery.
Edgar Casey said there's information buried there, to prove where the Atlanteans were and all this other information.
I will say this: with enough research as I've done, I do feel like people get to these excavation sites, and I don't think that they're uncovering or unfolding the full truth to the public. And I think that there's shit to be hidden to hide an
Possibly,
agenda.
you never know.
I really do agree with that.
So my second alien abduction story. Okay, so here it is. I'm mystic for a living. I'm very intuitive, clairvoyant, mediumship skills. And I got this client. She goes, "Hey, I know this guy named Michael," and he says he's an embodiment of the angel Michael. And he does over-the-phone healing work. She goes, "Would you like his number?" And I go, "Sure." And I was passing around to clients, never even met the guy. And my clients would call me back, go, "Hey, I had a good experience with the guy. Thank you for letting me get his number." So one day this guy calls me, goes, "Hey, man," I goes, "Oh, thank you for all the clients you've been referring me, because I'm a good promoter and know a lot of people." And I go, "Well, no worries." He goes, "Well, let me give you a free reading." And I go, "Okay," And he starts talking to me, and he tells me about how he felt I had military background, which I didn't. I had this blood thing going on, and he was talking about my energy and me being a teacher or whatever. But I had this lump in my left wrist, a lump. Okay.
Yes, and you've had it your whole life up until this moment.
Yeah, up to that moment, I had it in my life, and never knew. Of course, lymph nodes come up and all these different things I've had removed off my right arm, but never my left. But anyway, so it was there. And this would be for my right arm if I even had a problem. So he was telling me that there were alien beings who were monitoring me, and which kind of tripped me out, because my first teacher, let me go back just a little bit. My teacher who helped make my staff told me that there were aliens who didn't want me to succeed, and that I was being monitored 24/7. So this guy out of the blue tells me that, you're being monitored, and they put something in your body. He goes,
"How did you feel when you hear this news?"
I was tripping.
Okay.
I was tripping, like, okay, like,
yeah.
All right, what you been smoking, G? No, you're not kidding.
Exactly.
But no, really, I mean, I was like, well, I'm spiritual for a living, so I'm open. So I'm thinking, well, okay,
This has never crossed your mind up until this point.
No. And so he goes, well, you were implanted by these aliens. He goes, they're monitoring you. He goes, don't you remember the experience? And as soon as he said that, this magnetic energy went from my crown chakra all the way down to my feet. I mean, just magnetic electrical energy.
Like it just melted.
It just went right through my body. And then all of a sudden this veil was lifted.
Like you could see again. You're like, wow.
No, I had the memory of what happened.
Oh, shit. We're going into
that
this?
Veil. It was that veil. Yeah. So there I was laying in bed. Okay. And there's 3 beings in the room with me. And
okay, hold on. Before you get into the beings, now, did you just go to bed and did you sense something? Like, can you give us a little bit of the
again, I was on the phone with this guy. He was deprogramming me as we're talking.
No, like the night that it happened, since you can recall it now, like were you just like, oh, I'm going to go to bed like
yeah,
any other night?
It was a normal night.
Yes.
I have a habit of falling asleep to the TV being on.
Yeah, like the white noise. You like the white noise.
Yeah, or I always have a fan on, but always, so... so it was just like a normal. In fact, it made me feel like I did leave the TV on, and I thought the disturbance waking me up was that. But then when I noticed I had these 3 beings around me, they were definitely, gray type beings. I was freaking out. I mean, I was literally. It took all my strength not to probably scream or cry or get into this fucking, meltdown mode,
Yeah, like my jaw's open. I'm like,
yeah. It's always those 3. It's always those 3 phrases. Who are you? Why are you here? And what are you doing to me?
Like at that point, do you just start swinging? Like, are you just so caught in fear that you're just like paralyzed?
No, you are paralyzed.
Like, oh my God.
You can think and you might be able to talk, but you cannot move. And I remember I kept my eyes closed.
I would get my fucking eyes closed too.
I did my best to pretend that I was asleep. And I remember the one guy walked up. One guy, whatever it was.
One guy?
Yeah. He walked up and he lifted my hand and I let it drop naturally. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
So good on that. So gross.
And that was tripping me out. And then all of a sudden I was out. You know what I'm saying?
But like, what did the hand feel cold? Did it feel string bingy? Like just kind of like just long?
When I think about that, it did not feel human. It felt like it only had just a few fingers or something. It didn't have a whole hand. You know what I'm saying?
No, I do know what you're saying, and I don't want to know what you're saying.
It scared the shit out of me, honestly, and that's probably why he suppressed that memory for so many. It was suppressed, but
okay. So the next day, like, did you have any bruising?
No, but let me finish.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So the next day, because as he's talking, you got this lump in your left wrist. It was right here, right? And I said, yeah. And like the next day, it was gone. And he goes, by the way, I pulled that plan out. He goes, they can't monitor you like that anymore. And he pulled it. He did this, what I do now, called psychic surgery, over the phone.
Yeah.
And I never got really talked to him again after that. But it was a very powerful reading he gave me over the phone. Not too many people read for me.
Yeah.
And he acknowledged who I was and talked about some stuff that was personal. And it was like, but he acknowledged me as a spiritual teacher, you know.
And that just forever changed your life.
Well, yeah, it did, because I never realized I had an alien abduction experience like that in my life. And they're known for being able to cloud your memory.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They don't want you to remember that crap.
No, now, it's kind of amazing. When Athena's mom, Michelle, was pregnant to Athena, I had a store, and it was called Phoenix Dragon. It was in Encinitas.
Uh-huh.
And I had 2 rooms, a lecture room and 2 classrooms, basically. And so I used to rent one out as a lecture room, and these people from Oregon said, hey, we want to come down, or Washington. I think it was Oregon. And they came out. We want to rent your lecture room, and we've got people we want to meet. And they had a big thing in the reader, and they had a big turnout. You know, I was kind of impressed. But before they had their lecture that night, when they first showed up out of town, I never met them. They said that they knew 13 levels of Reiki, which I've never heard of. I'm a 3rd level Reiki master. So then they go, well, you know about all the aliens abducting people right now. And I go, what are you talking about?
So what year is this?
This is 2003, huh? You were born 2003, right? Yeah, 2003.
Oh, wow. So it was an active year.
Yeah, it was a very active year. And they start talking to me, and they go, well, where we live, they go, well, there's a lot of people being abducted right now. And they go, how you can tell if you're abducted or not is when you wake up the next morning, if your fingernails grew real long overnight, or your hair or anything like that, that means that you were being slaved by aliens. They pick you up out of your body. They take you and they use you as a physical slave to mine a planet or to do some type of laborious job. And then when they're done, they put you back into your home before you have to go to work.
Okay, well, that hasn't happened to me. Thank you.
Yeah, but no, they were talking this way, and I told my wife at the time, she was trying to go, stay away from these people.
You know? Hell yeah. You're like, they know too much too. I was like, I don't want to know if they are one.
This doesn't sound kind of right to me. And so then the guy starts talking to me. So where are you at with this? I go, well, you know, first of all, the Lord God Yahweh is my
Lord and Savior.
Yeah, Lord and Savior, man. He's the Lord God of my buckler. I got a sword and a shield. I don't sweat things like that. And that's when he told me, he goes, well, you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff, because I see that you got the light in you and blood. And he started talking about Metatron and angels that I knew and names I knew.
So it made you feel better.
So I felt better. So then he goes, could I be blessed and attune your daughter 3rd level Reiki master before she's born, while she's in the womb? And so I'm going to let my wife come in the room, and he attuned Athena 3rd level Reiki master before she was born.
So that's trusting, because you didn't even know this dude. So you're just like, okay, you don't even know.
Yeah, because his conversation scared me. I wasn't sure, you know, where he was going with his abduction stuff. And when he asked me if I had been, which I know I hadn't been, and then he got into my vibration, well, then he knew right there. He said some things that acknowledged me and the light that I carry.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people out there who are weak souls, they're being abducted. They don't even know it, possibly.
Oh, I guarantee it. You know? But then at the same time, there was like a period in time where I was waking up with a lot of bruising and random weird, like, little circle triangle marks. I'm not going to lie. Like, my husband would be like, that's a little odd. I was like, I know. But then, like, it's weird. As soon as I started getting more into, like, my high priestess training, and I went on my spiritual detox for my 90 days, dude, all that shit stopped. Like, the pains in my neck stopped. And so I'm going to tell you something right now. So I say it was an entity, that sometimes, I mean, I feel like it was an entity in the sense that it wasn't a spiritual, because I'd be like in my room. I'm such a night owl, and I'd be reading a book, and then like the fan would be on, and it would be almost as if like something would stand in between like the fan and where I'm at in the bed, and I could just feel like the air not come through, you know, and I could just tell, like if I was blind, I could tell that someone was there just by the sound. But I'm telling you, once I started doing like everything Yahweh, it went away, and I'm glad. So one day, you know, as you know, I do my tarot readings or my tarot cards as my self-discovery for like end of the day. And I think I told you this on the phone. And like I was just like, you know what, fuck it. Like I just want to know, like, is this something? Are they trying to communicate? And I was like doing I was doing the deck, and two cards fell out, and it was the Wheel of Fortune, like right next to the Tower card. But wow. It was like the circle, and the first thing I saw was the disc, and then the little lightning bolt into the tower. And I was like, okay, that's all I need to know. And my husband's like, well, if you think about it, and they've been doing anything, and they keep putting you back here in the morning, so you know, fuck it. Like you come back every day.
Well, yeah, you know.
And I was like, oh man, I don't want to think like that.
Yeah, because you're this bright light connected, you know, and you are who you are, you know. You very well could be leaving and coming back there. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. So,
yeah,
you know, that could be, you know, because there are good aliens. If there's good, there's bad. You know, that's just yin and yang. You know, not everything's negative.
I wish I could remember though, because I feel like it would be beneficial for like a missing gap in my mind,
right?
Kind of.
And I tell you what, for anybody out there on YouTube watching this podcast, what's up? And on Spotify here. I mean, if your name's Michael and you know who I am, shoot me a number, man. Well, I'll get you some more business.
Right.
I've lost his number, but he was in Arizona, because there are people out there
Arizona just
who can activate things, like going to hypnotherapist. A good hypnotherapist will help activate past lives and your subconscious, and you know.
I did a past life regression under hypnosis, but I feel like it wasn't very powerful.
Yeah. But let me tell you this: that movie, The Fourth Kind, Contact of the Fourth Kind.
Is that the one in Alaska with Mina? Oh,
yeah.
Me and my sister and I couldn't fucking sleep for like a week, man. We were so scared.
And I thought that was based on a true story, but
it is based on a true story.
Tell her, Athena. No, it's not.
So they lied?
They lied.
Damn it. Because I was scared as hell.
What's based on a true story is in Nome, Alaska, there are people missing.
Yeah, well, they said it's the most concentrated amount of missing persons.
Yeah, no, there's people missing, but shit, who knows what's going on there?
It's like Murder Mountains.
Yeah, but we know that from sightings of UFOs. I mean, every day there's sightings, and like I said, Pedro Avila, he made history with alien, with something on video like that. More recently, I think it was in Peru, helicopter was looking, had their camera going, but they had an infrared on it, and there was a UFO right there that they could see, and it was spurting out this little gas, and it's on YouTube. I mean, and that's government video.
I believe it.
So it's just a matter of time. The government's not going to be able to stop what's going on.
Well, something came out today about the UFO in New Mexico, and it says the FBI admitted to it. They're like, yeah, it totally was a UFO. I'm like, oh, they're not even holding it back anymore. They're just trying to hurry up and push this out to the public.
You know, Mexico's a hotbed for it because they have a pyramid there.
I believe that.
You know, and that pyramid could very well, become activated again.
Actually talk about an ancient civilization that lived in Arizona, but beyond our time than what we know in the United States. So I fucking believe that. Yeah. And there's multiple pyramids in the United States if people don't know that, but there is. So, and then there's
a pyramid in China.
I'm sure there is, and then like Indonesia, like even if it's a ziggurat.
Frankincense here, yeah.
I was like, yes. Okay, so let me tell you this. One time we were camping. Maybe I was about like 16. I was with my mom and her friend, one of my girlfriends, my little sister and her little friend, and we were camping out in Lake Arrowhead. So keep in mind, I'm not a camper, but I was willing to rough it. So we thought it would be a good idea to do the inflatable mattress and put it in the bed of the truck. So it was me and my girlfriend, and the silence out there was creepy as shit. Okay, and I kept hearing something, and all of a sudden we hear like this humming noise, and it was like the most consistent humming noise I've ever heard in my fucking life. Like it was just consistent. I don't know how to explain it. It was just like and it just went like that for a good 5-6 minutes. And then finally, like I opened my eyes, and in the clearing, I saw this giant orb of like orange light shoot across the sky faster than anything I've ever seen in my fucking life. And then right after it was this little tiny white orb that just took off. Like, I don't even, like, it gives me the chills talking about it. And then I'm staring and my body went fucking cold. And my mom, so I looked and I was like, Heather, and I thought she was sleeping. And she's like, Ashley, I saw it too. So I was like, okay, I know I'm not fucking tripping. My mom comes out of like her tent and she's like, did you guys hear that humming noise? And we were like, yeah, it was weird. So all night I couldn't fucking sleep. Like, everyone's dead asleep. I knew something was out there. So like the morning, I didn't even go to sleep that whole night. And then we went to the park ranger and we were like, hey, is there like an Air Force base or something around here? And he was just like, no, why? And we told him what had happened. And he looked at my mom and I, and he's just like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he gets in his little scooter and he drives off. And right at that fucking moment, it like a storm rolls in and it just thunders and it just starts pouring rain. I cannot write this shit. My mom will get on the show and she will vouch for this whole story. So we just grabbed our shit real quick and we dipped out of there. But I will take a lie detector test. That shit was scary. I might have gotten abducted and I don't remember, but that was intense. And that's my story.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. I mean, it's like I said, I can't remember everything in my abduction or what happened, but I do know that much, Mm-hmm. So that doesn't surprise me that happened to you.
Yeah, no. I feel like when people are in this realm, that it's really easy to be susceptible to a lot of those things.
Yeah, and I have had some people who I've meditated with over the years. I used to have a group of people that come they belonged to an alien abduction group, and they would share some of their stories with me, and most of them were not pleasant,
Would it be not a good thing to talk about it? Can you share like a little
Well,
something?
A lot of them got probed. A lot of them were just being, dissected in certain ways. Or I know one lady who felt like they were actually, trying to communicate and interrogate her in some way. Or
I've heard about that from a few people, like kind of going back, like, what have you learned on Earth, basically?
Yeah. And we know that, and here's the other thing I heard, because, for a long time, animals got cut up, they had that going on in New Mexico and stuff. And there has been a shift in that. Mm-hmm. And there's a story about this high priestess in Peru a while back who actually put something into the air to affect aliens when they come into our atmosphere.
So they can't breathe.
So that they can't do the activity they used to, supposedly.
In Signs. Yeah. So they couldn't be around water and then they died.
But we'll see. Kesey Knox says that we have great aliens coming to us.
They're already here, don't you think?
But I mean, on TV, like they say, Lord Maitreya is going to come on TV, and at that time there'll be ships here, and they say he'll come on everybody's TV at the same time, and he'll speak one language that everybody's going to understand.
So let me ask you, where was this written, or where did you find it?
It is in the Keys of Enoch.
The Keys of Enoch, okay.
By J.J. Hurtak.
I'm reading it. I haven't gotten there yet. It's a lot.
I've read that book 5 times complete.
You guys, it's a lot.
I've been facilitating that for 21 years. I plan on making Ascension. That's part of my destiny. Yeah, Mm-hmm. But yeah, we have to be open as Americans, as a human race, that there are extraterrestrials waiting to help us.
I believe.
You betcha. And they're here monitoring us, and they're watching what we're doing. Some are still influencing us in some way, possibly.
Oh, I agree.
The government has ETs they're talking to right now. There's no way out of that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for people that like to watch this stuff, I've watched so many documentaries on Amazon Prime, and there's so many stories, and a lot of them they have so much proof and so much evidence, and people are still overlooking this, and I'm like, we're just not going to talk about this because
right.
Those things that your kid talks about seeing in the dark, you might want to go check.
And you can probably Google something to find out that there's a group. If you feel like you've been abducted and you're having nightmares, you're having some kind of insecurity or phobia right now.
Irrational phobias are really
then you need to probably seek, a group of people who have had that experience.
Do hypnosis too.
Go get a great hypnosis, so we can give you some hypnotherapy to help get you back on track mentally.
And to be honest, I feel that if you're even thinking that you might have been abducted, you probably have been.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No one just naturally thinks that.
Our intuition's very strong.
Yeah.
And the more we listen to it, the happier we're going to be. And, that's just that we know. We just know who we are. We have that feeling. No, I don't think I want to feel that. No, I don't think I want to do that. No, I think I've been here before. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that reoccurring deja vu.
That reoccurring deja vu for sure, And I feel that's how we operate. But we also know, too, because we have to be in some way different than these beings, even as starseeds, because we know through the knowledge we have now that we can travel without a spaceship.
And the Merkabahs?
Yeah, through Merkabah. There's a physical Merkabah and there's a spiritual, from what I understand. And we're just, we have a lot more going on. I just feel like these are interstellar beings. A lot of them are.
And I know you were mentioning something a while ago, talking about there's like a multiverse clashing right now with each other. So these beings that we're also seeing could be they're existing in their world and they're colliding with ours at the same time.
It could be. There are different portals and different dimensions that are.
So if you see concentrated energy and
You bet.
a lot of activity like
And
that.
like I said, we could be talking right now. You could walk out tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, while you're driving your car right now, listening to this podcast or wherever you're at. There could be a ship right there that you can't see. And we won't see unless you have infrared on a camera.
So let me ask you something, because I wouldn't even know where to start. Like, kind of like my experience, I didn't know what the hell to do. What can someone do at home if they're feeling that they are being abducted? Because Dr. Turi told
That's
me.
heavy.
Dr. Turi told me to keep running water, and then I was telling you I always slept with the light on, so that was another one. So like,
Get a cat.
Yeah, definitely get a cat
or a dog. Animals will deter them from coming to your life. If you have them right there in the room sleeping with you, you're not going to be bothered 9 times out of 10.
Is it because cats are multi-dimensional
beings?
beings?
Cats are protectors big time on an alien. They come from Orion. The Egyptians brought them in, but they have this prestige energy about them. They're very
regal.
Yeah, but they're great protectors spiritually. So yeah, I would say that would be one thing. But as I go back to my connection with Yahweh, it's not my way or your way, it's Yahweh.
It's Yahweh.
It's Yahweh, baby. And the more you love Yahweh, and the more you study God's sacred name, and the more that you get into loving your divine source, the more power you're going to have, and the more protection you're going to have from alien abduction.
As long as you stay close to source.
You have to. I mean, obviously there was something wrong with me. I didn't know it. My main teacher told me that could happen to me. Later in life, I guess it had to happen, and then Spirit brought someone into my life who could activate my consciousness.
So how about if somebody feels like they actually have like this plastic film of like alien whatever around them? Who could they contact? What would you suggest? Because people have nowhere to go, and they're embarrassed to talk about it.
No, but there are groups on the internet. That's what I would do. I would go to an internet group, and if it's that bad, go to a crisis line. I mean, if you're having that kind of a terrible...
It's like, where the hell do you go? Like, I'm sorry, I feel like there's an alien shield around me that I can't get off.
Yeah, well, they're probably going to put you in the hospital.
Crazy,
they're going to put you in the hospital. No, they do have groups. They do have groups. But you're asking some great questions,
Yeah.
And, I would start praying. I'd be talking to my angels. I'd go to a church. I'd get blessed by a priest. You know what I'm saying?
And those people that continue to like be scared and they're like out in the desert of nowhere, at that point you should just fucking move. If there's shit that's keeping you up all night.
Carry a lot of guns,
But people will stay there for years, and I was like, how do you guys live knowing that thing's always circling your house? Or,
yeah, because you know what? It's happening here in the city too now. You ain't safe no matter where you're at. You ain't safe no matter where you're at.
I would rather be next to people than not be next to people.
I understand. I understand that concept. I definitely understand that concept. You gotta go, damn. I mean, but it's like when you gotta go, you gotta go. It don't matter what you're doing or who you're with. You know what I'm saying?
Holy shit.
I mean, you got to be ready for anything. No, you're right on some level, I guess. I mean, I don't know if I had dogs and guns, and I feel pretty safe anyway. Like I said, I really don't feel like I'm gonna have any type of negative experience for myself. We were talking about Heaven's Gate earlier. In conversation,
the UFO behind the asteroid.
Yeah, the guy who was the leader of the cult, he said that he had a UFO experience. He had, I guess he was abducted. Jesus came into his body, and suddenly there was a light that came on him, and Jesus came into his body, and he was the incarnation of Jesus. And anybody in their right mind knows that you can't be the reincarnation of Jesus because Jesus isn't dead. The Lord God, Jesus, the Lord of the Christ, is still alive. He's out there hanging out with Lord Maitreya. He made ascension. He's not dead. So
what boggles my mind is that no one ever questions the rhetoric. No one ever questions it, and you're just like.
And you could be an emotional stigmata. There are people who are stigmatas. Saint Francis of Assisi was a stigmata, and he would get the wounds of Christ, because he loved him so much. We know that in ancient pictures of Christ, there are UFOs, and there are UFOs in the picture. You can get on the internet and look at some of those old pictures, So, who knows at some point how we got here initially ourselves. We know that There was a frequency of sound that could have came from a UFO. Yahweh is known from which.
Well, I believe that I heard that humming that night. Mm-hmm. I was like, my mom got over 10.
Well, yeah, here's the deal. I have the 7 crystal bowls that represent the 7 chakras, each tone. Now, it said God, through words, God made flesh, so it was a frequency. There was a sound. There had to have been a sound. Now, that could have been a ship sound, but it was a sound of creation. Mm-hmm. So I feel that if we have all my 7 crystal bowls going at the same time for each chakra, that would be the sound of creation. Because after he would have molded the ground from dirt for our shell, that's how our spiritual body would have came in with that sound from those chakras, because they're connected to our spiritual body. They connect us to our physical body.
You got to let me know when you're going to do that, because I'm absolutely ready to hear that.
So I mean, when you talk about aliens and you hear the sounds and frequencies, that's very powerful. Very, very powerful. So there's still a lot more that we have to share about aliens coming up here.
I feel like we can go on and on.
Yeah, we can. As we study more keys of Enoch, we'll bring some of that information. We're going to have another alien show for sure. And we're going to have another ancient alien show, too. There's some stuff I want to talk to from ancient aliens that have come up. And
so many things.
To that. And I also want to give a shout-out to everybody to go to my... If you're on Spotify now, you can go to my YouTube and see us. Mm-hmm. Now, you can contact Ashley at...
The Pisces Life Coach on Instagram. Oh, my God, you guys, I cannot talk. It's aliens.
Yeah. And I'm on Spotify also. I have an album called Time Has Come by Travis Tidwell. So if you're listening to me now and I'm on iTunes. If you're on iTunes, you're listening to me. Or if you're on Spotify and you're listening to me, you can check out my album. If you're on Spotify, check out our YouTube.
Yes.
If you like what you hear, if you have any questions... If you want to know who your assigned angel is, give us an email, travistidwellpodcast@gmail.com. Mm-hmm. I want to thank my co-host here, Ashley, tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. Great conversation.
This podcast. And I want to thank my executive producer, Athena, and always the Lord God Yahweh. And I want to bless everybody out there. God bless you, your family, your pets, your loved ones. Many blessings on planet Earth. Peace.
So be it.
So be it.
And time has come to rearrange. Time has come for a change.